Hey guys, this is Mitch with Finepoint CGI, and today we're going to talk about exporting Unreal assets into Godot. So we're going to go through the process of downloading and installing Unreal. We are going to go ahead and use one of the assets that I got for free from the Epic Games Store, and we're going to go ahead and export that out and import it into Godot, and I'm going to kind of show you a few of the quirks along the way. So that's what I have in store for you guys today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to discuss why do you want to export stuff from Unreal to something like Godot. Well, first, Unreal gives away free assets every single month. And I probably should start making videos on these assets, but they literally dump out free assets every month. And some of them are useful, like, advanced female customization is probably not useful for us, but for people who use Unreal, it is, right? But they also have stuff like a modular sci-fi office that's completely free for us to have. So we can pull this down and put it inside of Godot and use it as either temporary objects, or providing the licenses are okay for us to do this, we could use it for our games as well. So let's go ahead and show you how it works, right? So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to UE4 library, and we are going to click on install a new version of Unreal Engine. In my case, I've already done that. So just go ahead and install it, and then we are going to launch it. One of the things that I like about Godot over Unreal Engine by a lot is just how slow this engine actually is when it comes to doing stuff. It takes a long time to even open it. For the template that we're going to be picking, we're just going to go ahead and say game, next, and we are just going to go with a clean project. We don't need any code because we're just going to be exporting assets out anyway. So let's click next, and I'll just go ahead and create the project. It's fine. So now it's going to be initializing for a little bit. It's been initializing for probably about 15 minutes now, so it takes a minute for it to figure out what it wants to do. All right, so now that we have Unreal open, let's go ahead and see how we can import an asset from our Epic Games content into our Unreal project. So let's open up our Epic Games launcher here. And if we go to our library, you can see my project right here. If we scroll down, oh, it crashed on me. Well, that's always good news. Let's try that again. Go to library, scroll all the way down, and let's find our scene we want to export out. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and pull down the city subway tile, or tunnel. I think that's a pretty cool little asset here. So let's go ahead and add that to our project. Actually, I think got to go back. There we go. It looks like I actually have to create a project for that. So let's go ahead and create our project. I didn't need to create, or I didn't need to actually make a project. It's actually going to do it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this down, and let's create our project. All right, now that it's downloaded, let's see if it created the project real quick. And it did. So let's go ahead and double click on the project, and let's open it up inside of Unreal. Okay, so now that we have our project open, what we can do is we can come into our subway tunnel. We can actually come into our meshes section and open up our props here. And if we just select a prop, or multiple props really, we can just right click on them, and it's got to load for a quick second because there's a lot of props here. If we right click on it, and we can go ahead and go to asset actions and export, or bulk export. So if we click bulk export, we can actually go ahead and on my desktop, we can right click, add in a new folder, and just call it subway export. And we will say new folder, let's just call it props. We'll go inside of there, and we're going to select this folder, and we are going to dump all of these out as FBX files. So they are able to be imported into other applications. So if we click export all, now if we open up our subway export, we open up our props and our game, subway tunnel, mesh, props, you can see that we have a bunch of FBX files here. So from here, we can go ahead and import them into Blender or into Unreal or into Godot. We can really import it into any application we want. But what if this isn't enough? What if we wanted the entire subway tunnel, this entire thing? Well, we could. We would have to just go into our map, right-click on our demonstration, Asset Actions, Export, and then we could go ahead and drop this in here as well. So let's go ahead and import these into Godot now. So if I go ahead and I click on Godot, and I create a new project and call this Unreal Export Demo, and create the folder and create an edit. Let's bring this over here and let's scale this up. If we go ahead and create a 3D scene, we right click and we open in File Manager here. And then we come into our Subway Export project, props. We have our demonstration here, so let's drag that in here. Let's go into Game, Subway Tunnel, Mesh, Props, and let's just drag our props folder in here. I don't need the rest of it. And if we come in here, you will see Godot will go ahead and import in all of that data. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to pay attention to, and there's going to be a lot of processing we're going to have to do, because the FBXs that we pull in will have the lower detailed version of those FBXs. Now, sometimes these exports don't work. Sometimes these scene exports just don't work, and it doesn't work out for us. But a lot of times it does. So if I double click on Demonstration FBX and I make a new inherited FBX, you will see here is that entire scene inside of Godot. Now you'll notice a few things. One, it doesn't look as good, and the reason why is because, unfortunately, as is the way of things, we need to do all of our materials and all of our textures and all of our lighting over again. We have to start completely over. And also you'll notice that we need to rotate this 90 degrees. So if we, whoops, I rotated it the wrong direction. This way, 90 degrees, something like that. And now you can see that we have our tunnel. Now they have these big fog sheets here. That's common in game design for us to use fog sheets. So you can go ahead and hide those. But you can see it legitimately just exported everything for us. So we can go ahead and just use this in our project. You know, if we come in here and we were to add in, let's say, a little bit of lighting. So if we add in a light and add in a spotlight, we focus in on this and drag this over. You know, we can go in here and start lighting this place up and start making it look good, or making it look hopefully better, right? You can see that the lights work and everything seems to operate the way that we would expect it to work. And the same thing works for textures. So if we go back to Unreal and we click on textures and we click on unique, you can see all of the textures here. So we can actually select them all, right click on them. And we will need to use a custom shader here that does not exist yet because these are all packed textures. That's something that you guys will have to do on your own, but you can just go ahead and say Asset Actions, Bulk Export, and then go ahead and just select that folder. And it will go ahead and export out all of those textures for us to use in our project. So now that the export is completed, let's go ahead and go out to our meshes section for our subway tunnel. If we go back and go to textures, unique, you can see all of the textures. So if I just come in here, I grab our textures, copy them, and we go out to our Godot project, which I'm going to have to reopen. So let's do that. Right click, open in File Manager, and I just go ahead and I paste that in here. Now you'll see Godot will pick up all of those Targa files. Now, something of note, Targa is a really weird file for Godot to handle, so you may want to convert that to a PNG so Godot doesn't get confused. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and import the Targa files. Sometimes it gets confused and does not like it. So just to let you guys know that that may be something you'll have to look at. All right, so now that we have all of our textures imported, what we can do is we can go and find our material. So if we click on our pipe here, you can see that it's SM tunnel pipes. So you can see here, SM tunnel pipes 02. So if we scroll down here and we find MI pipes 02 and we double click on that, you'll see over here we have our material. Now, if we scroll up and we go to textures, unique, and we scroll down here to our pipes, you can see that we have TX pipe BCD, and we have a bunch of different options here. So let's go ahead and drag our 01. Well, actually, let's click open our albedo texture. Let's drag this over and drop it in here. And let's change this to white so that the pipe actually looks good. Now that we have that, let's go and put in our metallic map. So you'll see that we have our RMA material here. So if we drag this in here, you'll see that import in, because it's an RMA texture, right? So an RMA texture is roughness, metallic, and alpha. And that is in accordance to red, green, and blue. So if we go to our green section, you'll see that suddenly it looks different than if we were in our red section. See? So now if we go to our roughness and we drag in the same texture here for roughness, you'll see now we have some shine to it. And then the A is for alpha, and we don't need any alpha for our texture. So we're good to go there. Now, if we scroll down here to our normal map, we enable that. We can come in here and we can drag in our normal map. And you will see we have just imported an asset completely into Godot. And look at how it looks. It actually looks really decent. So we can just go ahead and do that for everything. Now, I'm not going to go through all of that process. That's a lot of textures and a lot of materials and a lot of work, but it's definitely doable. You just kind of run through and hook up all of these materials. And there is some add-ons out there that can help, and I'll leave it up to you guys to check it out. But if you go into import here, there's a really cool tool called Lazy Import that'll kind of do a lot of this for you. So you should definitely check this one out. So go ahead and look at that, and that might help you out. But that's basically how you go ahead and import assets into Godot. Now, we can do the same exact thing if we actually go back to our unsaved screen here, like this, and we look at our props, and we scroll down here. We can actually go ahead and pull in that pipe that we were looking at earlier, if you remember. So providing that the pipe's here, I actually don't think the pipe is here. I don't see it. So what we'll do instead is we will pull in a fire extinguisher. So if we drag in our fire extinguisher, you can see here's our fire extinguisher, right? Now, one of the things that you'll notice is if we go into the scene here and we actually take a look at it, it has a fire extinguisher. It has this, which is, if we look at it, the name of it. Let's pull this over a little bit. You'll see that they have a fire extinguisher 1 as well. So what is this? Well, usually it's a UCX, which means it's a collision box. So that's just something to keep in mind, that some of these things come with collision boxes attached to them. Some of them don't. So you might have to go in and disable them. And you might want to go in and not disable them. It just kind of depends. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a fire extinguisher TSCN. So it's an actual scene file now. So if I scroll down here, you'll see here's my fire extinguisher. And if I come over here, I get rid of this because it's an FBX and I don't want that. And I drag this in here. There's my fire extinguisher. And if I scroll up and I look for my fire extinguisher under props and I find fire extinguisher material, I double click on that and I go find my albedo texture for this. So go to textures unique, and look for fire extinguisher. Here it is. We'll drag this in here, and you'll see that it doesn't quite, it looks dirty and nasty. That's because we have brown here. This should be white. So we click that, and there we go. And then once again, just like last time, we go ahead and we drag in our RMA. So we do this. We'll do it off of the green texture channel. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to drag this in for the red texture channel, and we are going to go ahead and drag in our normal map here. Now, this is a really cool and easy scene. Now, something that I'm going to look at doing as a future video, and I have thrown it onto my Trello board, is looking at Unreal versus Godot 3.4 in terms of rendering quality. And I'm going to do the same thing with 4.0 once 4.0 becomes stable enough for me to actually, use it. But it's something that I'm going to be doing, and this little export has really helped because I can export this out and I can go, hey, look, see this scene? And then I can come in here and I can go and see how it looks inside of Unreal, this exact spot right here. So look forward to that tutorial, and I will be more than happy to throw it together, and I'm going to kind of run through and start setting that up so we can actually do that tutorial. But that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, hit that like button. Hey, if you dislike this video, go ahead and hit that dislike button because I am here to make content for you guys. Now, this was a viewer suggestion, so I do listen to your guys' suggestions, and I do have a Trello board out there in the description below that you guys can click on, and it'll tell you all of the upcoming tutorials and all the ideas that I have for this channel. And you guys are more than welcome to suggest things for me. And hey, if you guys have questions about this, or if you're just looking for a cool community to join, come on and check out the link in the description below for my Discord, and you guys can come and join us where we talk about video games and we talk about game dev and we give feedback, and it's a really positive atmosphere for everyone to kind of build their own games. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you all next time. Thanks.